to go out to the Cotter. It's cheap accommodation for Canberra, $16 a night. Some of the other places in Canberra can be expensive, and this is an accessible camping ground to go into the city and do some of the big ticket items or the more well-known items. But this road is also on the same access road to John's work. I've got the van behind me, and I'm going to stop and see John on the way out to the campground. Here we are at the Deep Space Tracking Station out past Tidbinbilla, and this is where John works and has for I think about 20 years, and he works on the dishes. They track all the satellites and a lot of the images that you're getting back, the rover, when that landed and everything. I think John's one of the few people in Australia that drives to work quite a distance, doesn't have to go through a traffic light, so he likes it. Sadly, the visitor centre, which is really good, it's got a little moon rock, it's got lots of interactive things, it closed for COVID and it's still closed, and so's the cafe, which is a shame.
A couple of weeks ago, Sharyn and myself went to Cotter Dam, and it took a long time for our Redarc Pro Elite to calibrate. It was flashing blue and green for 236 kilometres before it actually calibrated properly. A couple of people asked what happened with that. So I contacted Redarc, and they said what happened because we got the new cable loom put in recently after the mice attack. They disconnected the tow pro from the battery, so it was back to its normal state. It wasn't calibrated to the car. So when we left, it just had active calibration all the way to almost to car core. And because we didn't use the brakes a huge amount, because it's basically just on a highway, it took that long to calibrate. And what happens is, normally when you drive, you're in proportional mode. So if you set your Redarc to say 3, which is where we usually drive, 3 or 4, the harder you put your foot on the brake, the harder the brake will come on the caravan. But when it's in active calibration, it doesn't have proportional mode. So you put your foot on the brake and the van will just go straight to whatever number you set, whether it's 3, 4 or 5. So it will come on harder than it would in proportional mode when it's fully calibrated. I hope this makes sense. Anyway, it's all working fine now, and hope that helps.
Well, here I am at the Cotter Campground in Canberra, and you have to back in. All of the sites are straight like this. There's actually some numbers on some of them, but I don't have a number on my booking form, so I've just picked one and backed into it, and fingers crossed. But the whole time I backed in, which I'm quite pleased with how I did, these two little fellas up here have been laughing at me, and I actually couldn't figure out their laughter was getting really loud. But I think I was coming too close to this, which is an odd place for the fire to be. And I didn't know if I should be on that one because the fire would be on the better side for me. But then if there was lots of people wanting to use the table and chairs, that would be a bit odd. Wow, this has been washed away. thought I was going to walk across here, and there used to be a track up there. I'm just walking along, and there's very fresh, large diggings there. I thought it might have been a wombat, but now I'm not sure if things aren't collapsing along this campsite, because look at the size of this hole, and it's like just a sinkhole. Okay, this is Cotter Bend. Lots of barbecues, lots of picnic tables and chairs, but no camping. And it says that you can swim on the river. It's been a bit of a walk, but really comfortable and gentle. This place must be overrun by wombats, I think. There's so many wombat holes. Hey, for Christmas, John gave me one of these, and I don't eat much bread per se, so I haven't been sure what to do with it. But Thomas Heaton, one of my favourite YouTubers, uses it to cook his meat on and puts the meat into wraps and then finishes it off. So I thought tonight I'd give that a try. I've been seasoning it and hopefully it'll work. It's a little bit bigger than his and it's heavy, so if I'm not going to use it, then I need to make up my mind. Just watching a whole mob of kangaroos just pop past. All right, so I've just bought some chorizo sausage to cook in it and make a wrap with that. Well, everything looks melted inside. Looks nice. Oh yeah, the wrap's really crispy. The cheese is all melted. And it's spicy chorizo, so it goes really well together. I'm going to have to really research what else you can do in those. But cooking the meat and then putting it in a wrap, I got no washing up tonight, so that's good. Well, it's really dark now. I know you won't see me, but I've got the fire on. And there's crashing down on the river. And then occasionally, just before it got really dark, you just see a wombat running around madly. I think there's probably 3 or 4 of them, and I'm hoping in the morning when there's better light, I'm able to see them, maybe get some pictures. Good morning. It's a little chilly this morning. Air would have to be in the minus. I think it was predicted to be about -2. And they say down in the valley that it can be like a few degrees even lower than that. But it's very beautiful. Well, that's it. I'm all packed up. I've just checking the blinkers. Well, one of the must-do stops when you're in the south of Canberra is the Namadgi National Park, and this is the visitor centre. It sits under Mount Tennant, which is the ACT's second tallest mountain and the highest mountain that's the most accessible to climb. ACT's tallest mountain is Mount Bimberi, and it's located in the Bimberi wilderness area. And there's actually no track up there, but many people do go bush bashing and climb it. It's definitely worth coming in to see the visitor centre and to get a map. If you don't feel like a huge walk up that mountain, out the back, and there's a pretty little walk. These slabs are actually used from the original Gudgeonberry farmhouse, and they've been moved here and preserved, obviously. But if you come to Namadgi National Park and you're into historical huts and homesteads, there are 10 different places to see them along here. Obviously, I have a soft spot for Namadgi National Park. I spend many hours there a week. Also, Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve is very close to the campground and worth visiting. There's so many iconic places like the War Memorial, Parliament House, the Democracy Museum, and I could just keep it on going. Hope you find time to visit Canberra. I'll see you on the other side.